So I started watching kids and teens react every day at lunch to kind of keep an eye at school.
Yeah.
Awesome. Before it was blocked by our firewall.
Honestly, my kids are always nice because I'm like, you guys, I biffed on the Foo Fighters. And they're like, it's going to be okay. I'm like, it's not okay.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
This is hashtag FBE Podcast, episode 10.
What?
John's back.
Crazy.
We're down to one fine brother again, but we have two very special guests. Trudi, say hello.
Hey, everybody. Hi.
And Scott.
What's up?
So you may recognize those two voices if you've watched any of our Adults React series. And for the heck of it, Rafi, why don't you say hello?
Nah.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
So this is a podcast all about what's going on behind the scenes here at FBE. It's a little longer than our normal reacts. It's for a much smaller percentage of the audience that we think might actually be interested in all the crazy intricacy of what it takes to actually run a company that does so much stuff on YouTube and so many other platforms. But it gives a chance to hang out with us a little bit longer, answer more of your questions, get to know more cool people, cool guests. Last week we had
awesome
Matt Pat.
guests, yes.
It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. It was fun to actually get to just geek out for an entire hour talking about stuff that like people don't usually let me talk about for an hour.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
If you guys have any questions about the YouTube algorithm, go back, check out last week's episode. Literally, Rafi and Matt Pat talked for 90 straight minutes around their understanding. And I agree with Benny. Benny seems to think that like Rafi and Matt Pat are probably two of the most well-versed creators on the platform in terms of how the algorithm actually works.
I try.
So much.
I try to keep up. Matt Pat knows a hell of a lot. There's other people that like we could. I wish there was just a good round table. We'd have like 8 people being able to all talk about this stuff of all the different things that we're trying and doing to try to stay on top of it.
Amazing.
But it's insane. But
so what are we,
ask questions if you guys have more. It doesn't just have to be the algorithm hour. Feel free to send in questions. We can answer them here and there.
Although who doesn't want an algorithm hour? Really.
Every week, another algorithm
Every single
hour.
week would be great.
New guests.
So what's going to happen on this show is we're going to answer some of your questions specific to our special guest this week. So we posted on Instagram to get a lot of questions for Scott and Trudi. We're going to give you some insight into what's actually currently in production here. We're going to talk about some questions that you've sent in to us, either about FBE or about YouTube. And you get us those questions just by using the hashtag FBE Podcast, whether that's on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. If you use that hashtag, we have a shot at seeing it, and we may answer it on next week's episode. So a whole bunch
of stuff to run through. We
of
gotta get
stuff
going.
to talk about.
But first,
a
couple company updates
Yeah,
before
why
we
not?
jump into questions.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So, did I miss? I know that I talked with you and you couldn't go. Were you able to go to the party
picnic.
yesterday?
Yeah.
I was at Outside Lands.
Oh, man.
I mean,
Then it's okay that you
not
missed
really.
it.
Wasn't
But
worth
we ended up having, if you were following on social media and everything, we had the annual React cast party where all the generations come together, except for the 2 people here. No, a lot of people can't
horrible
go.
is that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, man.
But
In my face.
It's like when we had Elle on, and she was just like, I kind of skimmed the podcast.
It's so perfect. I loved it. But we all get together and we're trying to do it more often, but it has only been once a year. And every time that it happens, it's kind of like, oh my God, it's such an amazing kind of beautiful experience to be all together where you usually will only see maybe one person from your fellow cast or generation when you're in the lobby
It's
waiting.
quickly in
Totally.
passing.
Have we said
That's pretty much it.
what that was if people didn't see on Instagram or something? Like what the actual event was?
The basic idea is that we all get together, every generation and the staff, as many people that can come on that day, to basically just hang out and get to meet each other, take pictures and eat and play games. And it's just, it's like a picnic, a big family picnic.
Yeah.
And I think that even that's the thing. Everybody comes up to me and it's just like, oh, we're getting to hang out with the family again. It's like a family reunion because it is like we all watch each other all the time and like learn from one another from watching the episodes. And then it's like, oh my God, you actually have a moment to say hi quickly.
Because from watching our content, you don't realize that talent or reactors almost never overlap. They overlap very little
Right.
in terms
Very
of you
rare.
could be in like 6 episodes with somebody and have never met them ever.
Oh,
You guys
absolutely.
at least did on your YouTube channels. You did a collab
Yeah.
with your kids.
We collaborated after last year's picnic.
Yeah.
Actually.
because of the
yeah.
picnic.
Because of the picnic, yeah.
Picnic. It was totally that.
Yeah.
So I'm totally bummed. Now who am I going to collab with? I guess Scotty again.
I guess, yeah.
Here we are. And okay, it's already happening.
And then another. Actually, I'll tease the idea of we are considering, and I think we've said this a little bit of like maybe some of these get-togethers that are with the entire cast and staff. Maybe we'll start doing that where we'll invite the rest of the family, which is the audience. And hopefully we'll be able to do something like that where we actually have one of these
amazing.
events, but it's actually also getting to meet
You
a
want
lot
to start
of the fans.
pre-apologizing because it's probably going to be in Southern California when that happens.
We're so sorry. I apologize
sorry.
on the show.
I know everybody would be like, why aren't you doing it in Iowa?
Yeah.
Well, like the
exactly.
idea, we definitely have had people like talk about that. It's just like, how do you, what, are we going to pick 6 people to go around the country to meet? It's like, we
Right.
can't bring 150 people and then the staff too. So 200 people around the country to meet people.
Look,
So
what
That would be
guys-
so fun if we could pull it off.
Shut
Like,
up.
I'm in.
don't talk about that.
I mean, you can
Impossible.
find some cheap airfares depending on what sites you use. So like that times like 200 plus like room and board plus food. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like it's just a couple $100,000.
There is
Yeah,
a slight
that's it. That's
opportunity.
all.
So if you're going to be in Pennsylvania, we're going to be at the Little League Classic doing a
What?
cool. It's the inaugural event that Major League Baseball is putting on this cool event with Little League to have an actual game taking place at the Little League complex.
An MLB
Oh my God.
game. An
That's
MLB
so
game.
Right,
cool.
so the
Really?
Pirates and the
I wanna
Cardinals are
go.
playing. I know.
That's
I'm so
awesome.
sorry.
But like some of, I think like maybe like 5 or 6 of the reactors. We're hoping to have some Major League players come on and play. So it's going to be a whole live stream that we do
That's so
on
cool.
Facebook.
That's rad.
That we'll be doing different challenges and having fun and doing just some fun stuff with some YouTube stars as well. But it's been fun because we just had the first video that was helping to like tell, hey, this is what we're doing, and we really love it when a brand comes on and actually works with us for an extended period of time, because one, it really helps keep the lights on. It helps to bring in the money to be able to like do all the things that we're doing here. But it's also like, it's a journey in that way versus like the one and done with a brand where it's like, hi, this is cool that we're working with this person and that's it. We're never working with them again. Right. This is like we did the Teens versus Food last week. Stadium Foods, which was really fun.
That was
and
really
Darius like really loved it. Darius could like, that was just, he was so happy with all that food. This week we're actually having a laugh challenge that's all with baseball bloopers and stuff like that, but it also has Hunter Pence in it,
Nice.
which is crazy.
That's awesome.
That's
and then there will be the actual event coming up on Sunday, which is awesome. It's cool. We're really excited.
Anything else that we want to tease that might be in production? Because we've talked about teasing. Raf is giving me eyes. For those listening,
Let's just go. Let's just go.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
nothing. All right. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Jumping into questions. So these are questions that have come across.
You're like so nervous.
I am. I'm
No, these are
super
easy.
nervous.
These are good. These are good.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't know this is not like a pop quiz. If you don't know the answers to these,
What was episode 74?
Oh my God.
Kids React. Yeah.
What was the 3rd episode you ever appeared in?
What was
Oh
the
my
first
gosh.
episode that you
No,
guys
I
were
know
in?
that one.
That one I know.
Because you
Okay,
were
well,
both
We were both
that was
in
a
one.
fan question, but go for it.
the very first episode that you were both in of Adults
10
React.
years of
Yeah.
YouTube.
10 years of YouTube. That was the
Yeah.
first
I
one
don't know if
ever.
we said that, but both of them have been on the show since episode 1,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Adults
right.
React,
Easy.
episode 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Podcast
Yes.
episode 10.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, but I'm cool with double digits.
First podcast adults guest.
Nice.
Pickle 6803. You like my transition there?
Yes. That was very smooth.
Pickle.
6803 over
Just
on
total
Instagram
baseball.
wanted to know, how did you guys learn about FBE? Were you familiar with the stuff before you'd ever like auditioned or
Who
or sent in a
introduced you
cast,
to
or
it?
Who introduced
I think
you
you
to
might have
FBE?
different answers to this.
Yeah.
We might.
Go for it.
So for me, it was my son sent me a link to, he saw it on Facebook. What was he doing on Facebook? I don't even know. But he
And the
said
posting was on Facebook.
it was on
back
Facebook
then.
back then. And so he was like, he sent me a link and he's like, Mom, you should try out for this. We love this show. I'm like, oh, I love that show. The kids are the elders. I love those guys. And I was like, all right. So it was a survey. It was just filling in a bunch of questions like,
Right.
what are your favorite TV shows? I'm like, this is the best survey ever.
Were you into, thanks to having kids that were into YouTube and such, had you been watching various things on YouTube at all or not really?
No, but I mean, My kids are always like, you should see this one, or they're sitting there chuckling to themselves, and I'm like, either I should really intervene because something's wrong, or something's really entertaining on YouTube, and either way, I need in. So. Yeah, it was great.
How do you do in do parents know YouTubers? Do you do all right on those?
No, I do really bad.
So you get very different.
So bad.
Which is what it's actually like. Scott's going to answer here in a second because I know about a completely different answer. But that's also what's so important about the show is you guys representing your generation and being parents and everything, of having the idea of it. We don't want everybody that's going to be people that know YouTube so well. We need people that have different opinions based off of those things, of how they're interacting with their kids, how you're thinking about that as an adult, et cetera. So Scott, how about you with YouTube and such?
Okay, so I used to watch YouTube a lot and had kind of drifted away. And then we started watching, me and my buddies started watching cover songs. And it was Christina Grimmie, actually. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And she's the one that kind of brought me back to YouTube. And so I started watching kids and teens react every day at lunch. To kind of keep an eye at school.
Yeah.
Before it was blocked by our firewall.
With his fidget spinners.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would watch it at lunchtime to kind of stay in the know of what was going on with these junior hires that I was teaching.
You're such a ahead of your time teacher. I feel like that's now what everybody does anyways, but like that was early to be like, you're going to stay on top of it that way to stay connected with the students.
And that's exactly. And so I would know what they were talking about and I could connect. And then they also thought you were cool when you'd be like, oh, I know totally what you're talking about. Like, what? Or they'd be shocked, like, you should know this. You're old, you know?
Right.
And
they have to be kind of like careful even of like, because you're going to know what they're talking about.
They always give me that look too, that side look, like, does he really know what we're talking about?
Dog eye.
It is. But yeah, and then one day at lunch, the video popped up about Adults React. It was like yellow with like kind of a blue-green background.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally remember it. And it's like
big text. That's
it was just giant.
It was like, hey, you sort of need reading glasses. Can you see us now?
Yeah, it was like Adults React. And it's like, if you're interested, email. And so I emailed and I was like, I'm not in Southern California, but I'm willing to drive.
Close enough.
Yeah. And I was like, waited, didn't think anything was going to happen. I got an email back saying we're interested.
Yeah.
And then like the rest is history.
Yeah, what about your kids? Your kids are young.
My kids are little. Yeah.
So they weren't into it as much.
They weren't totally into it as much now.
Right.
All the time. I mean, I get home and instantly I can't even breathe without them wanting to see kids react. Like, Dad, is there a new Kids React today? I'm like, no, it's a different episode of something else. But like, they're like, we want to see another new Kids React. And they'll go back and watch all those.
Do you have a rule that they only watch Kids React because of the things that might be on the other ones?
Exactly. We do have a rule that we do watch just Kids React right now because they are so young.
Or like the laugh challenges that aren't the adult versions.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm a stickler in my house. I would say I'm pretty strict. And I'm the major filter for us.
I think that it speaks to like that the idea completely of like, I think because Kids React became so popular, like, and people didn't know all the types of crazy sketch comedy that we did before React came along, that the media and entertainment, the industry, and even people on YouTube tend to think, oh, Kids React, so this must be like a Nickelodeon channel.
Kid-friendly channel.
Like, absolutely not.
Not
we just
much.
did right in front of my salad with the YouTubers, which was showing a meme that started from a porn.
Right.
So like the idea that kids are not supposed to just be watching, that parents need to be very involved is very important, even with our channel. But in the sense of like, have you dealt with even people in your life? Was it a teacher thing? I've always been interested. Even when we did Parents React and Adults React starting, we got a lot of teachers because they were connected either through their students or because they wanted to be involved from that angle. But is that something just normal life? Are people your age into YouTube that much? Still not really?
No.
I would say no. They always ask me. I mean, even other teachers, they'll be like, so why do you do that? Like, and you enjoy that? Or I'll show them a video and they're like, oh. And that's it. They just don't get it.
Yeah.
And yet, if it was on TV, they'd probably get it. It's like such an interesting thing of like that it's a separation. But that's the 100%. Thing, that there is a specific time.
They watch Ellen videos on their Facebook, though. Like 100%.
Yeah, they really do. Yes, they do.
But it is like that we very much have a demo that is like the older it gets, like now as people grow up, they're going to always have watched YouTube and such, but it's still like the 15 to 34 is where you're really going to get like the heart of the people that watch YouTube. But it becomes so random if it's over that completely of who's into it or who's not.
Yeah.
Good. I was not.
John,
I
you
was
want to
not.
get
I was checking. I was checking the time on the podcast, and I was like, and now I'm done talking about that thing. Okay, so here's a question. We've alluded to what Scott does, but let's talk about it. Zach Mayella over on Instagram wanted to know, what do you guys do outside of FBE? So obviously, people think maybe you're here all the time, every day.
Yes,
most of the reactors are not here all the time, every day. They're here maybe once a month. Yeah. So you guys have a vast personal life outside of these walls and reacting. What do you do?
Yeah, that's
Trudi?
a little overkill, really. Fast. I'm a writer. I write. I am a content marketer. I blog. Now I vlog thanks to being on React, but yeah, that's what I do. So I do it for like fun and profit. So the profit part is I ghost blog for corporations.
Any specific industry?
Tell us.
Interesting.
I know, exactly.
You guys with your algorithm,
right? No.
Ghost blog. So can't really say right here.
Is it like? I'm trying to figure out what, like, industry wise, like, is it like tech stuff or entertainment
it's tech stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I write a lot about remote work.
Gotcha. Cool.
I'm sorry, I just fell asleep.
That is cool.
You guys calm down.
We're running into so many NDA things that I'm like, what questions can I ask?
No.
Like, okay.
Well, my double secret, I'm writing a web series right now and a musical, and I have a short film that's like making a short film circuit right now.
So yeah, I mean, do you talk about that stuff on your channel on YouTube? Like, will you release that stuff when it eventually maybe is ready?
A little bit. The web series, that'll be interesting because I'm writing for a friend.
You'll put it out on the channel?
Yes, it will definitely be teased on my channel, but like, I'm not even sure how we're going to distribute it. But this newfangled thing, YouTube, is so powerful that I feel like it's a good idea to use the medium. So yeah, that's what I do.
Cool. Scott?
Dude, I'm not
do you ghostwrite
half as
for
interesting.
You're
what are you talking about? Very interesting.
Saying? You're amazing.
Dude, a writer? I can't compare with a writer. I'm a teacher. I teach math, junior high math, in 7th grade.
Where does that, I'm curious, like, I have no, like, in my very limited math educational experience, I don't know what junior high.
It's so different now.
So different.
Like, okay, so I taught elementary school for 12 years.
Yeah.
In 2nd through 6th grade, and then I moved up to junior high 6 years ago, and now I'm doing math, and we're basically in pre-algebra. So you're talking integers and angles.
In 7th?
In 7th grade now. It's the shift is totally moved down from. I mean, because like some of the math.
America is #1 in math, from what I've read.
Yeah, it's such a good idea to challenge these 7th graders, right?
People listening, and like, you know, and we have people listening from around the world. They're gonna hear that being like, what? Like, we do that in 3rd grade.
Oh, I had a student. Okay, my first year teaching math, they made me do 8th grade and 7th grade, and the 8th grade stuff was stuff I did sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea what I was doing. And thankfully, I had a student move in from Europe, and I would look to her for the answers. Like, I would be writing on the board. I'll be like, and we're going this direction, guys, and this. And I'd turn around and look at her. And she'd give me like the thumbs up, like, or she'd be like, no. And I'd be like, I'm going to do some more research. Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to look it up tonight.
I'm imagining Scott at the whiteboard being like, and the answer is 3?
Dude, it was totally like that. And like, the equation we're going to use is, and she's like,
you're like moving like towards circling something on the board. And you're like, this one.
It was totally that.
She's like, left.
But it was definitely a challenge. But yeah, it's tough. Yeah, junior high math is tough. And I used to want to be a rock star. I used to be in a band.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You still keep up with the music?
I do. I keep up with the music, and I use the most recent band in the beginning of my videos a lot. I use clips from our albums and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So just to kind of keep that alive.
Because you just alluded to it, you have a channel as well.
Yeah, so I do.
The link is going to be in the YouTube description for SoundCloud. Yeah. Do you guys just want to say your channel just for people that are listening?
Sure. Mine is It's the True Story. So
you want to spell that out?
Yeah, it's ITS the THE. True is just TRU story.
And I'm the chunky Spaniard.
That's way easier.
That's a great name.
I'm Spanish and I'm chunky.
What happens sense. If you like start like really working out a lot, or like
I need to. The reason I wasn't at the picnic is because I had like kidney stones.
Oh man, huge bummer.
Yeah,
Man.
So I need to start working out.
But
I don't know. I could be
if you
the
start losing a bunch of weight, you're going to be against brand.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you'll be
know
like, sorry,
the artist
doctor,
formerly known as the
not-
Chunky Spaniard.
And then you can
I'll just need a symbol. Exactly.
That's
just like gut with an X through it. Cool. Let's see. Do you guys? This came from Shugi Solar Zenok over
That's
on Instagram.
amazing.
Okay.
Do you guys have a favorite episode of Adults React and why?
Wow.
It could be anything. It doesn't have to just be Adults React. I mean, I thank you for your question, but like it could be any of the genres and shows that you've been on.
Okay. I really have enjoyed the music ones, the most recent music ones with Ed Sheeran and Paramore. But the one that really stands out was the hoverboard. And I don't think it was that memorable, except for the fact that we talked about Back to the Future forever. Because that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
And it was around that time period that the future was coming.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And it was that Lexus hoverboard commercial.
Right.
But everything tied in. And even after that, I was thinking of all these tie-ins to, you know, Lexus and Toyota and how they're connected. And like the Toyota truck in the Back to the Future movie was like, like all the tie-ins to that. So I think just nostalgia-wise, the hoverboard was my favorite.
I also kind of remember, early on, you wrote, I think, in a couple times to the company being like, oh man, I left and I had such better things.
I did.
to say.
I'm like, I thought of this.
And you even said like, I know I sucked and I had such better answers. Once I left, I knew I would, and I know I probably sucked and you're probably never gonna.
I apologized a lot. I thought it was
you
like
totally had like one of those like meltdown, like you're never asking me back, but thank you for it because I just love the channel. And I was like, you're coming back.
I
You're
did
great.
100%. I had no idea that's how it worked because I was like, they're never asking me back. After that first one, I'm like, they're never asking me back. Never.
Yeah, but that was a fun episode. That was still when Benny and I were in the room. We had fun. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
God, Scotty, that I can't even believe that you're so good all the time. I can't believe you were ever like what, which happens literally all the time. Like all the time, I'm like, "Ugh," and the moment I just shoulda. All right, so it's most memorable. Right? Can I just do memorable? Because the ghost pepper one.
Oh God.
Was like
that was intense for you.
That was intense. Like I had just shot one maybe about vodka, and it was like I had to sign all these waivers and releases, and someone's gonna drive me home, and it's like it's all like button up, and then I come in for this next one.
When you're on your own.
It's like and they open the silver thing, and it's like a plate of hot peppers, and all it is like, so it's like a really popular challenge on YouTube, and I'm like in game doing it, like chewing it an entire bite, and within like at first I'm like, oh, it must be like a
right. You don't before you can even keep talking. We're like, hey, give your opinion.
Yeah,
talk.
but
You're
I talk. You're like, I can't talk. Like gone. It was like.
Yeah, you were tearing. Like, right?
Oh my
You were
God!
just,
I had just fixed my
crying.
makeup too, so I looked like an insane person.
That's exactly what we probably told you beforehand. Please,
please
go do your
add
makeup.
some
Extra heavy.
Please, extra heavy.
Just
that face will end up
Tammy
in the
Faye
thumbnail.
Baker. Yeah, completely. And it was like, so the behind the scenes. So I did the episode. You eat the pepper, you're losing your mind. I actually thought I might pass out at one point because it was so hot. But I maintained composure, got to the ice cream, shoved it down my throat, was like nauseating. Then there's that moment of triumph, like, I did it, I made it. Like, I'm a little bit amazing right now. And then, but then the ride home, I was like, ooh, that's starting to repeat a little bit. I got home and I'm like, strangely enough, I'm even hungry, so I'm just gonna eat a little lunch. I'll just keep it bland. I like got out a pop chip and some hummus, and it was like dropping a penny into molten lava. And I literally fell on my knees, fell on the floor, and was sweat like the ALS challenge of sweat like over my head. It was
so
terrifying.
Like we
Great
started,
episode. Great episode.
Awesome episode.
We that in a way it's kind of like, man, we should follow everybody home and document the entire experience. But honestly, from doing the first couple, because of getting some stories back like this, I hadn't heard that one. Thank you for that. That was hilarious and awful at the same time. For me to hear,
thank
I
God.
feel horrible, but also awesome. Thank you. But we ended up now, whenever we do anything like that, we fully have it. We contact ahead to say, do you want to do one? Because what we ended up realizing is that people coming in because you guys never know what you're going to do.
No.
Right.
And because you never know what you're going to do, and that it actually affects the rest of your day and night.
Yes.
It's not like this is affecting your health long term, but the day and night, that it isn't just about coming in and you're done. We're like, oh, you might have an event that
We're about to
night.
really mess up your plans.
Yeah, you guys, I did. I had tickets to go see The Cure that night at the Hollywood Bowl. I know.
You didn't go?
No way. Are you kidding me?
That's awful. See, that's why we contact everybody now.
See, like, I'm the idiot that didn't follow that disclaimer. I got that email saying this will ruin the rest of your day,
like,
and I did
sure.
the stinking Carolina Reaper.
You're stupid.
It was so dumb.
Those
It's so
subject
awesome,
lines,
though.
whenever
ridiculous.
whenever Cynthia or Christy now send those out, it should be like, this is about to ruin your day. Like,
Right,
open this
truly.
email if
Yeah.
you're into that kind of thing.
I kind of actually love
No,
that.
it's still,
I mean, maybe I'm sick, but I kind of loved it.
But I want to bring up, because both of you guys were in an episode that was really, I think, important and was really great. The Try Not to Get Scared. No, I'm kidding. But you were both in that. That
I
was
love
great.
that one.
Gosh, I was
I'm so gullible. I'm so
But
gullible.
anyway, I was kidding.
Was that on the set? The haunted
Yeah,
house?
the
Yes,
fun,
it
yeah,
was
the cool
so
set.
It was so
awesome.
good.
That set was rad.
It was really
Both of
Dude.
you had great, like, terrified reactions when we scared you, which I think was Ethan.
It was
Yeah.
Ethan.
Yeah, it was Ethan.
Oh no, it was Ethan.
It was so cuddly. Oh my God. In real
So
life.
that was me just being silly. But that you guys were both now I'm turning it into serious in a second, but you're both also in the Parents 13 Reasons Why
Yes.
episode. And that was, people tend to ask us, are we going to do different generations to different things? And that one actually turned out to be something that we were like, well, we'll see how the first episode goes with teens, because this show was, even though, everybody watched that, but it was catered and specifically made for teens to be watching for that demo. But then automatically it was such an interesting perspective that it was the first time that we kind of went, we should not only be showing this and get the perspective from parents for this, but also get them to see what the teens were saying about it, et cetera. But I guess it really stood out as an episode for me in thinking about what the shows are trying to find in topics, which is you being very specifically talking for your generation and talking for your people that are parents, and like when serious stuff is happening for your kids and what they might be watching, et cetera. So could you speak to, I guess, maybe a little bit about that episode, but also like of how you think about having that your opinion is the opinion of parents and adults that you guys represent for a lot of people out there? And do you tend to think about that, not, et cetera?
Dude,
That's a big question.
that's heavy.
Woo,
Like I
gotta lay down on the couch.
to be the voice of parents out there. I don't know if I'm always the best representative.
But do you think about that
but
sometimes,
I
though?
do think about that sometimes, and I think about like my friend group or even representing teachers, especially in that. And that was a really, really tough episode for me. Just because we had lost so many students. And then just a couple weeks ago, I lost another one. And one that I had coached with and had just seen a few months ago on campus. And, and so I keep going back to it and rewatching it and seeing the teens cast react to it. They're so bright and so just well-informed, and they're so smart. It was great seeing what they had to say, because if they're representing other teens out there, that's a great representation, and they're they think, and that's what we need. But it's tough thinking that you're the voice of other parents. But I think we have such a diverse group of adults. I think you do hit all those pockets of different opinions and thoughts and feelings on it. And it was a very, very tough episode for me, but huge. I think it was very, very important as well.
It's hard to find topics that we can kind of dive into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you do, you end up being like, oh man. So that's for me, again, why it's kind of memorable, and wanted to hear if you had any afterthoughts around it. Yeah. So
I
true,
mean, I'm not a teacher. I don't even play one on TV, but I am a mom. So I watched it with my daughter and my son in part. And it was so, there's so many facets to it. There were so many sides to it. And we got, letters home from our principal and all that stuff. And it was like, that show was controversial. So speaking out on controversial topics and taking a stance and having an opinion, I think it's good. It was flawed, I think, but it was really good because the conversation needs to happen. That's my opinion. So
that's actually my opinion about it too. It's just like, flawed, sure. But like, my God, just because of us being from having this success on YouTube and knowing such a section of the audience is that teenage age, and that we started really understanding so early before this whole boom of anti-bullying and anti-cyberbullying. It wasn't really talked about much when we were first doing it. We did like a kids react to bullying, and we did a teens react to suicide early on that became videos that were really used like in schools and colleges around the world, that we get contacted about those episodes a lot. But if you look at those episodes, the way that teens were talking about it, the schools had been doing nothing at that time. But teens knew what were happening to them. And so this type of show was like, it was the first time that I saw something that was like, this is what teens have been talking about for literally like 6 years that I've been talking with them. But
no, and I mean, it's changed the focus. It's changed the way. I mean, the schools weren't talking about it. It was just slapping up a poster, and just like, okay, well, there's help if you need it. It's and
also buck up, like, you know, it's okay. But they didn't understand. No, it follows you everywhere now with mobile phones and everything. Nobody was really understanding of like, you can't escape. Escape. Yeah,
and I've been very intentional even because of that with the way I even set up my classroom. You know, I posted a few pictures of
on Instagram.
The posters that I put up about, you know, it's, you know, you are important and you are unique, and it's okay to have a dark side as long as you also embrace that light side. And just things like that from different organizations for representing suicide prevention. And it's not just to have the posters on the wall, it's to get those conversations started. It's something I'm going to start the first week of school with, of I'm here if you need me, and if you aren't comfortable talking to me, I will find someone who you're comfortable talking to. You know, but you need to also, you know, kind of let me in, and I'll be an advocate for you, because we've just had so much loss, and it's it's heartbreaking.
On that happy note.
Yeah, I know. Shifting gears, sorry.
It's important to talk about. Even inside of something where we're just like hanging out. Like, these are important topics that we end up doing on the shows. It's 1 minute, it's some weird, crazy meme. The next minute, it's going to be just something really important to talk about.
The podcast reflects the kind of roller coaster of like topics that we kind of cover. And it will, some weeks it'll be the silliest thing in the world that you can't even fathom why a bunch of people are collectively gathered to document that thing. And you're like, really, internet? But it still turns out to be interesting, or something as important or serious as that. And I think that's...
Was there anything else, Trudi, that you wanted to...
No, I wanted, a couple small things, but for me personally, like being a part of that and being able to like, yes, lose a laugh challenge, and yes, often be like, I have no idea what, it's Beyonce. Whoops. You know, like having those moments is like... humiliating and amazing, but having the moments where you can talk about really heavy subjects that really affect, you know, kids in particular, but all of us, is amazing. And from that experience, it is reinforcing. I'm actually starting to train for the crisis text line. So that was actually from watching that show and even talking about it on YouTube and just feeling like something's got to be done. So that was moving it into action. So just wanted to put that.
You spoke exactly actually to what, in the sense of a lot of people are like, why don't you cover serious things all the time? It's like we pick and choose to really be smart about that kind of thing, because it is going to be overload, and it's not necessarily what the show is, but it's become it's so great of like doing all the fun stuff and doing all this stuff, because to continue to keep the audience around to then have the ability to have the impact on them. Because if we were only doing the serious things, and that's what the show was originally, even, it would not have grown to what it is, so that it can have the ability to have an impact. So thanks for humiliating yourself. So that's something.
It's really my pleasure. Thank you so much for all the humiliation. It's amazing.
Okay, so not just for that, but for the multiple episodes you guys have been on, a question came in from Jilly Korn over on Insta. Have your kids or family, or maybe students in Scott's case, ever critiqued the way you react?
Wow.
How did you not know Beyonce?
Yes, there's been moments met by disbelief, outrage, and downright insult, anger. Like, why I mean, honestly, my kids are always nice, because I'm like, you guys, I biffed on the Foo Fighters, and they're like, it's gonna be okay. I'm like, it's not okay.
Yeah, you love Dave Grohl.
It's really not okay. Dave Grohl is my spirit animal. Like, you guys need to fix it. And they're like, Mom, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm harder on myself than they are. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I think, my own children, I'll show them bits and pieces of the videos that I'm in. And they're like, they think I'm just a big dork anyway, my own kids. And so they're just like, Dad, you made a funny face, you know, because they're just little.
That's what they're enjoying.
That's what they're enjoying. They're like, Dad made a funny face. And there's that loud laugh again, you know. But my students, they will ream me. Like, they will be like, you missed out on this one, or like, you don't like XXX Tentacion. I'm like, no. Have you ever heard Tribe Called Quest? Like, go back and listen to some real rap, please. And like, that was the one where the high schoolers even came back and started coming to talk to me or texting me, and they're like, Larios, you don't know XXX? And I'm like, no, I don't. And don't call him X, because that's Exhibit or any, you know, other rappers.
And also it's like, wait
DMX.
another like 15, 20 years when you're in my position, and like, don't be so mean to me, because you're going to be going through the same exact thing that I'm going through when you're older.
Yeah, out of touch. Exactly. So, I mean, they do. It
comes around.
But they love, I also enjoy it. Yeah, it sparks more conversation too. And so you can tell that they're invested, and we can laugh about it. They laugh at me mostly.
Cool. So we're going to get into a couple questions that came in just for FBE, the company, and then we'll get into our we'll get into our segment where we talk about the feedback that we've seen that come in from the videos over the past week. Cool. So from the fans, Alyssa Lockman over on YouTube wants to know, Raf, who knew algorithms were so interesting?
I know,
right? Come on.
This guy.
Sounds like Benny and Rafi have to really balance between creating content to work with the algorithm and creating content for a fan base. How do you make decisions when the two conflict?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, so far in the podcast, we've talked about that there's a variety of factors of like, of making content. It's kind of the creative struggle, I guess, in a lot of ways, is that to whatever degree you could have, you hope to find, you wish that the thing that you love at first the most is your biggest hit, and it's going to be it, and you don't have to like necessarily do anything but what you want to do, and you have that life. And some artists are like those starving artists that no matter what, they don't care. There's nothing that's going to be done. They only have one thing they want to do, and if people don't like it, they don't care, etc. Benny and I have never really been that way. We've always had a really wide array of like ideas and enjoying to make everything. And that's why when we ended up finally, we were put in a box in Hollywood, and it comes back around with things like the algorithm. But in Hollywood, like, we were told just be comedians, and we were inspired by like Kevin Smith. And so we did want to go down that path of just wanting to make stuff like he was making. But we then thought, when coming out to Hollywood especially, they were like, this is the only stuff that you should write and in this way to get the job. And that because what Hollywood is like a box.
It's a box. It's a box.
You know, and it's an actor only supposed to act in these roles, or how television and film used to be. Oh my God, nobody would ever do a television role until Netflix and all this stuff started happening, and Mad Men and all these types of roles that was like Breaking Bad. It was like, oh, television's huge. So even on the writing side and the creative side, Hollywood was putting us in a box. And until we finally said, you know what, screw that box, is where we then had something like React show up, and we came up with the first non-scripted thing we had ever come up with. We had never done that before. So from the animation to the web series to the feature films to the TV shows, everything that we do is like all over the place, thankfully. Because when you end up inside of something like things like that you can't even control, like an algorithm, and that YouTube keeps changing, and you have to keep adapting. And it wasn't even just YouTube. Even before YouTube was around, we were adapting and changing, because we had a website at first, and then we started realizing that MySpace was a thing. So we were kind of like, okay, how does that work? And we were putting up feature films online. We were like, okay, we got to start putting up sketches and viral things that are around holidays and whatever. The idea of like, we love all this stuff. We love making it all, but it becomes targeted towards what we know will have an extra bit of success. And we were around so many people that didn't have that mentality. They were just like, they only had one thing they ever wanted to do, and that was it. We always were willing and wanting to do so many things. So when we end up having the idea of now also running a business, and that other factors come into it of being like, well, now we're kind of like our own television network. Now we're kind of like, we have a business where we have to, we have all these people that come in for talent that like rely on it to some degree, some on the income more than others. But then we have a staff that work here full time, and it's 60 people that need us to pay them. You end up getting even more specific around knowing, well, thankfully we have all these hit shows. Thankfully they all are working, but they become targeted of what works and what doesn't, and starting to cater yourself towards making things that work better than others while still loving what you're making. We wouldn't do it unless we didn't love it. And then depending on the things that we still are like bleeding heart wanting to make, we find other platforms for it. And YouTube has become specific of what you make for YouTube. and then other stuff gets made for other platforms.
Or you bite the bullet in something like the podcast, and we just say, screw it, we want to make the podcast, because we know the podcast is going to hit us in the algorithm.
That's what you were saying last week.
But it's something we want to do.
Scott, now you talking is hurting our algorithm placement.
Scott, stop hurting the algorithm.
Stop with the algorithm. It's very nerve-wracking.
And at least for now, like honestly, because we wanted to make it a good experience, but like we don't know, I'll say it now. It's like we don't know at some point that we might throw in ads into the podcast, but because we wanted to be even an experience that we just wanted the audience to just be able to watch and not worry, we've had no ads even on the podcast so far. But I'll tell you, hey, we might turn that on just to help it bring in a little bit of money. Even even though 100,000 views, it might as well make a little bit of money off of it.
Cool. And we talked a little bit about how some of the features and stuff that we're talking with YouTube about is the controls to help creators take that hit or make more concerted efforts to be like, hey, we want to take a hit in the algorithm here because we really want to try and connect or feature stuff to our audience in a different way.
Yeah, one of our biggest ones that like is our example, and it makes YouTube feel bad, is like when we had the Carly Fleischman series. She's autistic, but she was doing the talk show, and that like because those first few people might be against people like that, not find it interesting. The super fans don't even find out that show exists. Like they'll almost never find out.
That's
even
so
though
crappy.
shout out to a lot of the 5% leaving comments about how they go to their subscription page and they don't understand how other people don't. I know, right? I know.
Right.
Good for you guys. That's why you watch.
You realize that so many people don't
But
know.
it's a good way of being like, look, if YouTube would allow us to put that inside of the related video on the top right, on the first video, when you're watching a video, and it would be on the top right, the first video there, or if you're watching on mobile, it would be right below the first video there. If we were able to put that as Carly's talk show, every time that came out, that thing would have gotten like 500,000 views an episode, and a lot of people would have become more fans of hers, gone to her channel, maybe made her dream come true. I know that she's still going for it and everything. But instead, with the way that works, and because it's not a React episode, it's not a laugh challenge, it just finds its way to falter and just get the 100 to 200,000 views, and it's just like if YouTube, and we don't care that would take a hit on the laugh challenge or that would make something not get seen as much. If we can have new shows and have new things that we're wanting to get out there specifically. So again, it makes YouTube feel bad because it's like, look at this great show that you guys, your algorithm made not get seen by so many people.
So let's get into some feedback from the week.
Sure. Okay, let me see. I'm not remembering offhand.
Is there a special song for feedback of the week?
We don't have a jingle. We were debating if we needed a jingle for the
one of, I think, the audiences, but also inside the episode that was so fascinating to watch and was fun to watch was even just like this. It wasn't a generational episode, but we did have in the second Try Not to Feel Old, we had the adults watch the teens talking about.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, I was in that one.
Go ahead.
Yes, I mean it was like that made you feel so old because then that banter of being like, oh my God, it's Ricky Martin. I don't know if you guys saw the episode, but. And they're like, it's from Shrek. And you're like, oh my God. Like, that was like the hottest dude ever. Yeah, that song was
basically like, Live La Vida Loca, Ricky Martin, it's like obvious. Like to anybody in a certain generation. And that's the thing. Like our grandparents probably feel that way all the time with all of us, right? That they go like, oh, nobody knows all this biggest, like crooners that were singing. We all are like, I don't know what that was.
Did you guys see the Elders Guess That Song episode where we played like classic songs to the
and they're trying
elders?
To buzz in, trying to pin each other.
And they were guessing like these really old songs and they knew them. And it's a fantastic Guess That Song.
I'm going to go watch that.
Okay. But so this was Do Teens Know 90s Music, and we played them Live La Vida Loca. Nobody knew it was Ricky Martin, not one.
Amazing.
And one person guessed Antonio Banderas. Shout out.
That was amazing. And Sergio was so mad. He was so mad.
Sergio was mad in the episode.
Very mad in the episode.
Alberto that said it.
Right.
And then, but four of them all went, oh, it's the Shrek song. It's the song that's in Shrek. I know that's from Shrek. And just, it was so, from the audience in the comments were just like, oh my God, how do people not know Ricky Martin? But it was just a really cool thing of utilizing the footage with each other, that you guys are watching each other. And that all hit you in such a weird, different way of like actually seeing teenagers talking about how they don't know these things.
Right.
But I know that's kind of how a lot of the commenters feel all the time watching Do Teens Know 90s. Yeah. And how the teens feel when they're watching.
Yeah, when they're watching
exactly.
Yeah, music.
And I'm like, it doesn't sound familiar. They're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's on like 24/7.
Yeah, those Try Not to Feel Olds, I love those. And No, I'm not touching that, actually. I already talked about it in the ballpark foods. I talked about that one already, which was just a really cool episode, but I already talked about that.
Well, you didn't talk about the feedback from the fans. You just talked about the feedback from the reactors.
Like, it was just nice that, like, sometimes when you do something with a brand, it was just a really fun episode to see that we really kind of knocked it out of the park for the baseball.
That didn't just happen.
But that, the audience, it's so interesting when you end up doing an episode where the audience kind of calls foul. Oh, God, another one.
Okay.
Are you getting paid for these?
Oh, my God.
It's great. Like, we work really hard to when those episodes are needing to be done and finding the way to do that, because the company does need to do brand deals in order to survive.
Yeah.
It's great when we find that right kind of recipe, that like the recipe for the food episode.
Oh my God.
I didn't even mean that one, guys.
That was really good.
I gotta stop.
I'm about to walk out of this podcast.
Like, whatever. That was one of the episodes where, like, a lot of the episodes that we do, it is peppers or whatever. That was something that everybody was watching at home, and in the episode, it's just like, this is incredible. But a lot of negativity around Americans, and because baseball is so known for being American, and this crazy foods that, like, these are like, it became a silly thing, which I didn't even know that it became such a silly thing that there's one thing in almost every stadium that's just ridiculous that they make. So that's why, and even people that are on Facebook on that episode, there's a lot of comments of baseball fans from other stadiums saying, "Oh my God, I wish you would have featured ours," and being like, "Make another episode where you feature ours." But I think a lot of the international crowd was like, Americans, like, with their insane, disgusting food. Like,
why do you hate yourself so much?
Well, I guess not disgusting, but just like, what are calories we're putting into things. It's like, these are the crazy foods that they make on purpose, and also like, oh my God, they look incredible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, good point, world. We do kind of eat ourselves into, like, obesity. It's true.
We had before this, I'm talking like 6-7 years ago, at the last company before I joined and we started FBE, was a ad agency company, digital marketing agency, and we had a sister company in Shanghai, and we used to have people from Shanghai come to LA and send from people to LA to Shanghai. But whenever we had people from there visit here, they were taking pictures of the portions. They weren't taking pictures of food like Instagram. They were like, this is what you serve a single person. Like, every entree is a family dish. Like, you know what I mean? And we were like, yeah, we just eat a lot. And when in the limited travel I've done, and you start seeing portions in other countries, and you're like, oh, that's what people should eat.
Well, that was our story. Because I did see a question that was just a quick question of, like, do we ever take vacations? And the answer is like, no, we only, and this actually goes
for the Summer Olympics. You guys take a vacation once every 4 years.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's like Benny going for like an overnight to quickly go somewhere and then come back really quick. But like, that's where we did learn about that in London, where we did order.
Did we talk about this on the podcast already?
I don't know.
So we went to this pub in Bath, England. And us being typical Americans, we go into the pub and we see a special there that's, hey, for an extra £1, you can get a second entree or a second like dish or something. So we're like, sweet, we all get extra dishes.
We're just gonna get multiple dishes.
All three of them, like, you're supposed to go there with a date or something and get a super cheap like 2-for-1 meal. But we're like, no, that means we get double the food. And so we each place 2 orders. The waitress looks at us so weird, and then eventually brings all the food out, and it's just us sitting in front of like 12 plates, being like,
gosh.
But they also were like, it was obvious that we couldn't tell why they were looking at us weird. At all. Like,
you were just thinking it was a little extra.
Like, they said it was a $1 extra. We thought it was like double protein or something. Double chicken.
But even all the plates, even getting all that food, I still thought of it as like, well, that's normal. This must be what everybody does here. And no, it was just kind of like the thing that you just get, that we would have gotten maybe 2 for the 3 of us, and they just were so confused by these Americans just being like,
any opportunity to order more food.
Buffets everywhere.
Do you have anything else, or is it time for shout outs?
Well, yeah, let's do shout-outs, yeah.
Okay, first of all, we need a hashtag. And we need to pick a hashtag that's more friendly to the international listeners.
Oh, because
we picked the strangest hashtags.
Algorithm hour.
I can tell you right now that, well, for me, I mean, I have never spelled algorithm correctly once in my life.
Oh,
right.
And we made that a hashtag. So that was bad on us. But also, we've done this in the past with super complicated, like, English words that non-English speakers listening are like, dudes, guys, come help us out here. Like, we got to try and translate and figure out how to spell your stupid word. Do Do you have any suggestions?
Wow.
Hot peppers?
That we've
Hashtag
talked about
hot
Hot
peppers.
peppers.
Because you both have
We
done
were
it.
both done.
We
it.
did, yeah. I mean, Scotty one up me, but
Dude.
Okay,
That would
we'll
be
do
just
that.
hashtag like death right there.
Hashtag.
let's,
That's a little dark.
No, I know, I know.
People will be
But
like,
like-
what
I
are
mean,
they
what
talking
kind of
about?
teacher are you?
What? Yeah, no, the peppers.
Okay,
The
good.
peppers.
We'll go with hashtag hot peppers.
like
If
that.
you guys hear that hashtag, our secret hashtag, whenever we give these out in the podcast, leave that hashtag wherever you're listening in YouTube or Twitter. I think we pull the most from. And you get a chance for a shout out on next week's episode. So I think you
Yay.
guys have a long list somewhere
just
near you.
dodge my mic.
Oh God,
Help.
I'm gonna try. Slightly move it.
it's a lot of work. Okay.
There we go.
I'm like trying not
For
to make
those
it
that
fall.
are just listening, we have some really terrible boom arms that we're navigating in the video portion
Right.
of
It's
the
all
podcast.
it's like a limbo with your face.
Look, I have a lot of hopes for this podcast. Better boom arms is one of them. Maybe some extra camera angles. Who knows? We'll get crazy at
Hell
some
yeah.
point.
Let's not go.
We're
nuts.
not quite there yet. So these are all people that sat through the algorithm hour last week with Matt Pat and left a comment.
Did we get to
So
6%?
we
were hoping.
did.
I think we
it was
maybe
the,
did.
It was the best, I think, best performing podcast
Thanks,
we've
Matt
had.
Pat.
Well, yeah, thanks.
There
And
you
then
go.
great. Now it's gonna go down.
Yeah,
going
no,
down.
It's over now.
We're gonna hold
No,
strong.
it only goes
on.
down if it's just Benny, Rafi, and me. If it's just
Okay.
us in a
Yes.
thumbnail, it goes down to like the 2% once we're in the thumbnail. So here we go. We'll just go round robin and we'll just keep going in a circle until we wrap them out. Do your best. I'm gonna murder so many names here, so
Thank
don't feel
you.
bad. A wild Zanita,
Alex Yeager.
Alyssa Lockman.
Ellen Tito Pinza.
Alyssa Puente,
Oh my God. I can't
Am-
read it.
Amberly,
Amberly Morgan.
Animal Lover Gaming.
Animaz. Faster.
Anton
Faster.
Keventan.
Oh my God. Antonio Romero Livia.
Good enough.
Oh God,
Ashley's
that sounds
videos.
dirty.
Axel Edwall.
Backwards.
Blueberry Pie. Thank
Brock
you.
Watson.
Dylan Pereira.
Dodie Malley.
Dr. Leaves.
Eagle 367.
Oh, sorry,
Laura
yeah.
McKenzie.
Guess.
Oh, Emily Sora.
Nora.
Epic Narvik 97.
Evia the Unicorn.
Fearly Annoying Punk.
Jason DeBoss 24.
Jorgelina Vega.
Josh Point 263.
Justin Speece.
Karen Shekian.
KCV.
Kendrick Harris.
Kevin Oliver.
Kim Yates.
Lily C.
Logan Wilson.
Lord of War.
Mama T.
Mark Lwimbe.
Maureen O'Brien.
Maya Jalukar.
Megan Jensen.
Melanie Vasquez.
Nathan Friesen.
Nimse.
Nicholas Augustin.
Nightfall.
Outer Ring.
PTL Kangaroo.
Raul Lanka.
Robert Anderson.
Bruce Martins.
Safwa Khan.
Sam Rush.
Sandra Javier Santana.
Sandro Bilobibo.
Sapphire Gemstone.
Scooby?
Yeah.
Severus Black. 4.
Shara Shamsuddin.
Sadiq Shadley.
Slimestone.
Stephanie Humaman.
Steven Staver.
Super Mustache 555.
Thomas Halbert.
And over on Twitter, I'll run through these: Amethyst Blazed, Doosan 922, Huku 1602, James Gagney Jr., Johnny TYH, M Fillmore SF, Penaholic 88, Matthew Geary, Macy. Thank you guys so much. And then we'll just go through the countries list. There's at least one person in each of these countries or claiming to be in each of these countries. Hashtag Pixar didn't happen. Well, let's go around the group here.
Around the
Algeria,
horn. Baseball.
Argentina.
Ooh, I love that show. Oh, sorry.
Australia,
Australia.
Bahrain.
Bahrain, that was rough. Bangladesh,
Colombia.
Greece.
India.
Israel,
Morocco.
Nepal.
Netherlands.
Nigeria,
Peru.
Philippines.
Portugal.
South Africa,
Trinidad.
Turkey.
UK.
and USA, Maryland, California, Texas, Arizona, Ohio, Florida. Special shout outs to you. Thank you guys so much for sitting through these crazy long podcasts.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
to
Hopefully
the
they make
5% out there.
Thank you so much to the 5% out there. Hopefully this made maybe folding your laundry a little bit more entertaining.
Yes.
Maybe you're doing some homework and you just need a little
you
ambient
should have been doing
noise
your
or
homework,
friendship.
yeah.
But special thanks to both of you for coming on and hanging out with us. I was saying before, it's like really nice to get to see you guys again and
Yes.
to spend a little time to connect, because it's tough for us to really be around as us working so much and so hard. But you guys mean a lot to us. It's been 2 years. It's in July. The
Yeah,
show premiered mid-July, so of 2 years ago. So thank you so much for being a part of it all and representing your generation. I think just like representing the idea of having opinions matters and like standing by it, even when you're silly, even when it's whatever. It's
even when you're going to be mocked mercilessly by current and
children.
former students and
Yes,
children
all
and
the
family
time.
and friends.
but it really is. It's something special, and I'm happy that you find it to be something special, being a part of it as well. And I know you do, and that means a lot to us.
It's a huge honor. I'm not kidding, and it's what you see. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, and
really
thanks
like
for
a family.
always having us back. I still stress out about that.
These guys, are you going to write about the podcast?
I'm not going to write about the podcast. Although, dude, I did that all the time. I was like totally second guessing myself. I'm the king of second guessing. But thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
And
You
thanks
guys
to all
are
the
amazing.
fans. You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
So
Let me
if
say
you guys
that.
want to check out more Scott and Trudi, they do have social networks you can follow. There's a page that not a lot of people know about. I don't even know if the 5% actually know about, but Fine Bros ENT, FINEBROSENT.com/adults-react. You can find all of their social networks because we have a full like headshot page with everybody's links that you guys have sent across.
That's awesome.
But it's The Chunky Spaniard or Chunky Spaniard?
I am the Chunky Spaniard.
The Chunky Spaniard on YouTube, and it's the true story.
Yeah.
TRU.
True story of 7
That's
strangers.
right. I want
Pick a living in the
it's
house.
like a jingle. Yay.
Did you? Here's the most important question of the podcast. Did you have fun?
Yes, I was so nervous, but it was a blast. Like getting to hang out. Like the very first time I met you, I didn't know you were listening to the podcast. I didn't know you were as well connected.
Oh,
With
OG.
like you would, and like you were carrying all these pipes up the elevator. I'm like, you need some help. If I had known, I would have been even more scared. Like to even be like, he's friends with the brothers.
No, I'm just a pipe guy.
I know all that kind of stuff is it always gets me of just like even at the party like that. You know, you have somebody that like is not even with the cast and they're like with their own family and they come over and they're like, it took me an hour to come over here to say hi. And it's just like, I'm just me. And like, you know, and it's just, even the idea of like what we've grown, a lot of the reactors would be like, so what is it like? You know, all these hundreds of people now that are here. And I'm just like, it's just this, it's the same. It just feels good. And it's great that we're all doing this. But like the idea of, you know, oh, me versus you, or knowing him, or it's just like really, it's hope. The hope is that all this is just allowing us all
I'm
to.
more important than Rob. So like, really, like, don't like.
But you guys have created this amazing family-like atmosphere, and that's what makes this so special.
But then the hope in that is that like it really should just kind of like
It's
equal
not a
out the idea.
hierarchy,
There's
you
no
know, it's a
hierarchy there,
family.
really. And that's what I hope from anything around the world of what we're doing and talking about, and that YouTube brings us all together in all those ways in such a beautiful way. And that's why like I think the show kind of represents that too. And hopefully you're not feeling that when it comes to the company, because that's what we're not. We're all the same.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, it's represented right there in the list we just read.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with us. Hopefully you had
really
fun.
fun.
If you have a question or an idea or a story or a segment or something you wish we would share or talk about, please use that hashtag FBE Podcast. That's kind of how I zoom in and search for things week to week and figure out what to put in the rundown and what to build out. So you guys are very much the 5%, I say, are my co-producers. I should address the credits in the podcast to put like co-producer, like the 5%
That would be
family.
awesome.
Because I'm so thankful for every person that's either watching this or listening to the sound of my voice right now. It's incredible that you guys are hanging out with us behind the scenes and even care and want to learn more about these amazing people that we work with each day and just what goes on here. Because we have so many talented people working behind the scenes here that we're very thankful for. So hopefully you guys had fun. Hopefully you guys come back next week when we'll have even more special guests here. You never know what the heck is going to happen. But we're super excited to do it.
So exciting.
Such a game show.
Oh my God.
Will you give me a moment of honesty here? Because I am honestly pumped. Because I saw like otherwise I'm just kind of like meeting these people in the lobby, or I'm able to talk to them for a couple minutes here and there. And this is my real chance to actually talk to all these people that I've kind of seen for so long. But anyway, thank you guys so much. We hope we see you back here next week. See you later. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.